So Tony.
Yeah.
Gregori,
yes, like the monks.
Gregori, and David Crispino.
Crispino, you nailed it.
Oh man, I'm getting.
You gotta go like this when you say the name, though.
Crispino.
Yeah, I did a
Manja boys.
Yeah, I did a ancestry thing a little while ago, and as I was growing up, it was always like we're Italian, we're 100% Italian, you're Italian, you're half, you're, and it's just like we're more Greek than Italian. And I'm more Scottish than Italian.
Wow.
It's like
I'm half and half. I'm half Greek, half Italian. My mom was Greek.
All my parents are like fresh off the boat, immigrants, and I'm just full like axis of evil background. Like I'm Italian, German. Yeah,
Fantastic.
like it's
complete supervillain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why you love the Red Skull, right? Is that why? No.
And Serpentor.
Yeah.
Big Serpentor fan.
Yeah, huge Serpentor.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm pretty sure I've told you this, Mike,
right.
but our original last name is the most supervillain last name ever, but it got changed when my grandfather came to America.
Yeah. What
It was Von Rundstedt.
Oh my god.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you're a supervillain for sure.
I'm one PhD away, man.
Yeah. Wow. You could have been Dr. Doom, man. What the hell? What are you doing?
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Let's do this.
Okay. That was the intro there, Chris. I don't think we need to run an intro after that. Yeah. If you want to introduce them, you can. I'll allow it. Go ahead.
All right, everybody. We'll see how much of that I actually keep. All right, everybody. We've got two very special guests for everybody here. Everybody, please welcome to the show David Crispino and Tony Gregori.
Nice. Good job. Hey, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Chris got to tap into his Italian side of his axis of evil and try to pronounce the names. But it's funny. So quick story about the project we're going to talk about. Chris sent me a late night text, as he usually does. And it was
usually naughtier than this one.
Yeah, it was. It was a link to Taft Sturgeon. And I was like, oh, this is awesome. I'm going to go back it right now. And then like a little time went by. And he's like, no, that's the interview for Sunday. And I was like, oh, even better. I was like, this looks like something I would love. So I can't wait to talk about that today. Because it's your first time here, we have to do the painful thing of putting you through the gauntlet and asking your origin stories of comics.
That's fine.
So whoever wants to go first, Dave or Tony, or at the same time, go ahead. Give us the lowdown.
Speak over each other, like
alternate
words.
Yeah, just kill everybody's ears. It'd be great.
What is happening?
Oompa Loompa style or something.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'll go. Do you want like we taught like timeline?
Yeah, I would say okay.
From
so
conception
like
of me.
Yeah. So where did you start as far as how you got involved in comics, and then like how did Taft Sturgeon come about with you guys?
I would like to hear the story of conception. Let's go there.
Okay, you could do that. If Chris hey, whoever wants to hear what. I mean, Chris is probably a better judge of our listeners. So.
I think my dad liked my mom a lot.
All right. We're getting into it, guys. No.
So yeah, I was a retailer. Well, first I was a reader, longtime reader. Dug it, got into it at an early age. Probably learned to read around that time with comics. Mm-hmm. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my go-to for a while, and then as I got older, my dad used to take us to the Price Club. This is a story that I always tell. It's like, my dad took us to Price Club, which is like a buyer's club, much like a Costco or anything like that. You could get like packs of 20 or 30 comics. He would buy them all the time, every time we went. And so that's when I really fell in love with comics. And then fast forward, graduate high school, get back into comics because I was like into Magic the Gathering and girls, and then just girls. And then got the job, ended up working with somebody whose wife worked at Diamond Comic Distributors. And I ended up getting Earth X and Kingdom Come. It was like just came from like free for the people, for the workers. And so I was like, is this what is happening in comics now? Like I hadn't been reading in a while.
Right.
And so I was like already floored. Like I was like, holy shit, this is like, all the familiar themes and all the familiar people, blah, 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 blah. Very adult, super excited. And then I was just like, I gotta find a shop. So I found a shop, ended up becoming a retailer, moved to Montana, became a retailer, owned a shop for 3 years,
Wow.
moved back to Baltimore, became a manager at the shop that I started going to when I started getting back into comics, which is Collector's Corner. And I managed there for like 4 or so years.
Wow.
And in that time, went to conventions, tried to promote the store as much as possible, tried to get store signings and all those kind of things. Along the way, met Joe Keating and Layla Del Duca. They became fast friends with myself. I was in DC for a signing for Shudder. And I was talking to Layla, and like we were having dinner. I was like, I've got some ideas. Do you know anybody? Do you have anybody that you suggest me working with? And she was like, of course. Like, I've got this guy, Tony Gregori. He's like one of the nicest guys. I think you'll really get along with him. I'll get you guys together. And the funny thing is that like ships passing in the night. Like, I was living in Montana before Tony got there, and then Tony went there. But Tony also lived in Towson, Baltimore, while I was living over here, and then he moved to Florida. So we had always kind of like doing this throughout our life.
Okay.
And
We might be related.
We might be related.
so
Man, that would
like
be fun.
follow each other around the world, or around the US at least. Yeah.
So that's how I met Tony, and then Tony and I have been making comics for close to 10 years now. Probably a comic a year of various sizes and genres. And then I pass it to my tag team partner here.
Yeah, it was a nice setup for him, Tony. So Tony, where did it start for you? Conception? No, I'm just kidding.
Conception. Well, my mother was a bartender at this bar in Dewey Beach. My father was a boat captain, and he walked in and noticed her, and went in every day for about 2
That's
weeks.
real.
This is real?
To go out with him. This is real. Yeah.
Holy shit! Is your dad Aquaman?
He was
King Trident or something?
He did live on a boat. He was a boat captain. So
that's awesome. That's amazing.
So and then they got married, and my mom was pregnant with me, and they moved down to Florida, and I was born in West Palm Beach, Florida, and grew up down there in South Florida till I was in my 30s. When I was a little kid, I was always into comics. I drew comics before I could read. I was drawing dinosaur comics. I would staple them together.
That's awesome.
And my mom saved them. I still have a few of them in storage. And then my dad taught me how to read through like those early 80s, late 70s, early 80s Batman comics. I was born in 76.
Yep.
So I was reading like, it was the Jim Aparo, Mike Barr, that stuff, Neil Adams, that sort of stuff. I was always into comics. Through high school, I was drawing all the time. I wanted to make comics. Even in high school, it was like during the image boom, and me and my buddy Josh would make comics and not tell anybody because we were in high school, and back then you didn't
share that with people.
Yeah. Even during the image boom, it still wasn't that cool. Even though Rob Liefeld had a jeans commercial. Like,
oh my god!
Plus, I was playing sports and stuff. I played football for a couple of years before I just realized I was not going to be any good at that. Mm-hmm. I always drew, and in high school, I was like voted most quote unquote most artistic. But then when I graduated high school, I was in South Florida, and I kind of went on a journey, so to speak, because it was the 90s, and there was I was working in night. Yeah, as you do. I was working in nightclubs and bars, so you can imagine the trouble I got into and the things I did. So it was around mid 2000s. I was working at this nightclub on Fort Lauderdale Beach, and there was a Fort Lauderdale Art Institute like down the street, and I was thinking about what to do with my life, and I hadn't drawn since I was in high school. And this girl I was dating, she was a writer. She was into creative writing, and she got me thinking creatively again, and got me thinking about like what I want to do with the rest of my life. Like I'll respect the bartenders, but I didn't want to be like the 40-year-old country club bartender in like Boca Raton or something. So I was like, the only thing I know how to do besides like make drinks and run a bar is like draw, and I was always good at it. And I was looking at these kids' portfolios who I worked with because they all went to school at this art institute. I was like 23, 24, 25 maybe at the time. And I'm looking at their work, and I was like getting cocky. I'm like, damn, I'm better than these kids. And I've been since like in a decade almost. So I just picked up the pencil, started drawing again. I got the bug, and then enrolled at the art institute, which was probably a bad idea because I still have debt to this day, but that's a whole nother story. Yeah. And I started drawing again. I made an indie comic with my girlfriend at the time's brother, who was a writer as well. and we made this comic, and it got picked up by an indie publisher in South Florida, and he took it to San Diego Comic-Con because he was tabling, and then I just decided to move to San Diego, and I moved to San Diego in like 2007 and did the con, and then stayed there for like 4 years or so, and did the con every year and tried to break into comics while I was bartending still, and like downtown San Diego with like Gas Lamp and stuff like that, and on the beach. And then life took me back and forth. I went to Florida for a bit, and then ended up in Boulder, and then I was still trying to break into comics, and I was working with this guy Tim Daniel, who works for Vault and writes comics for like Boom and
he seems to come up quite a bit in our interviews.
Yeah, he lives here. He lives here in Missoula, and we became good friends. He came out to San Diego, and we became really tight. Yeah, and he's like, "Man, you should try Missoula. It's really cheap. At the time, it was really cheap. There's a really cool arts community, and you can kind of like get by without having a car. It's like a walkable city. It's tucked away in the mountains. I was in Boulder at the time, and it was expensive. And a little too. And I was living up above Boulder, like 10,000 feet up in near Netherland. And I was having to drive down through the pass to get to work on Pearl Street like every night because I was still bartending because it was so expensive. I couldn't afford to live off of just comics.
Oh yeah.
And so my lease was up, and it was just me and my dog. And I was like, "Fuck it, I'll just move to Missoula." And I did, and I loved it. And I've been here over a decade, 11 years. And once I moved here, and I stayed with Tim for like a couple of weeks before I found a place here. And then as soon as I moved here, I started getting better gigs.
That's cool.
I was able to support myself with just drawing comics. So I've been full-time for over a decade now.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Tim Daniel, man, like we just had the guys from Invader Comics on last week, and we were talking to him too because he's got some books there, and they're good friends with him and stuff. But that's cool. And then we talked about you guys working, you and Dave working together from Dave's story, but so we're going to talk about Taft Sturgeon, The Holiday in the Stars, but that character was a thing before this Kickstarter, right?
Yes.
Okay, so is that something you guys just came up with and did some stories for, or where did that come about?
I came about through Layla and Joe. They were doing Shudder. Joe Keating and Layla Daduka. They were doing Shudder for Image, and they offered us, the two of us, because David and I had been working together for a couple of years at that point, and we had done The Adversary, which was a 30-page one-shot, which was like a sword and sorcery book. We did Ancient Noise, I think, at that point, like issue 1 or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2.
And then Malediction of Maxwell Fitzsimmons, which was a Lovecraft story that we did, which is like a almost 40-page one-shot.
Okay. No, that was it was like 20 pages.
20 pages?
Yeah.
It felt like 40 pages again.
It really felt, it was brisk. But yeah, so they offered us 5 to 7 pages in the back of each issue of Shudder to tell a little story. So Dave and I were like, "Well, how many issues do we get?" And they're like, "Oh, like 7." So we're like, "Damn, that's like 30-some pages." So we got to come up with a story. And I was like digging on like late 70s sci-fi, which was like Logan's Run and like Planet of the Apes type stuff. And David and Spaceman Spiff, I was reading Calvin and Hobbes again, and David and I were talking about Uncle Buck, which is like a favorite of both of ours. And David loves John Candy, and so do I. We're like, well, how about we just combine all those things and make a story? And we made this story about this guy who was an intergalactic agent who works for Intergalactic Child Protective Services. He goes around the galaxy and helps children of different like alien species and whatnot. And that's how it started. The name was like, I was thinking, I came up with the name because we were struggling with a name for it, and I was just thinking sturgeon because of fish.
Yeah.
Chinese characters, I always love the fish and bowl and stuff like that.
Yep.
And then Taft, I just think William Taft, the president, husky president, and he's like a husky guy, so it just kind of felt natural.
I think it's a solid name. Taft Sturgeon is like is a solid like adventurer hero name. I don't know.
It sounds like a 70s action sci-fi movie name too.
Yeah, Taft Sturgeon.
It's like yeah.
I think it's great.
Holiday in the Stars, starring Taft Sturgeon.
It works. It definitely works. I saw the Kickstarter Taft Sturgeon Holiday in the Stars, and I was talking to Chris about this a little bit. Like, obviously around Christmas time, I like to read more holiday stuff. That being said, it's on Kickstarter during the holiday season, which is amazing. What are you guys doing with this story? Obviously, it's a sci-fi holiday story. So, like, it's a full length graphic novel though. There's quite a bit of content here, right? So what is the story you're telling?
So I got this I got a blurb already written. It's
Oh,
like,
really? Oh, you have something prepared? That's more than
it's like
we have.
real quick. It's like real quick. So it's like,
okay.
It's blank meets blank.
Yeah. High concept. Premise Beach. Come with us to Premise Beach where we mash things together for you.
Yeah.
So it's when a conniving robotics tycoon tries to replace the beloved detective Taft Sturgeon with AI-powered robots. He inadvertently sends Taft on a magical Christmas journey to the North Pole where he teams up with Santa and Mrs. Claus to save the holiday season. Or what if John Candy starred in a cosmic Christmas Odyssey?
Uncle Buck Rogers.
Uncle Buck Rogers.
I love
so
that.
Yeah,
nice.
so
yeah,
that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell it's like we say it's Christmas season, like because Santa doesn't need saving, Christmas doesn't need saving, because like these are ideas and concepts that are bigger than we are, and these are things that we can't possibly like destroy in any sort of way. It's it's a living, breathing concept, and we try to explore that as well in Taft Sturgeon by like getting weird with these like kind of like folk sci-fi where you talk about like how the North Pole is like almost like the center of the universe, and Mrs. and Santa Claus are like these avatars of goodwill and prosperity and these kind of things. So it's like we try to like dig on Jack Kirby type concepts as far as like New Gods in 2000 when he did 2001 Space Odyssey and like that kind of stuff.
Yep.
So it's like mostly how the idea of Christmas affects other people. So, you have the conniving capitalistic tycoon because he's trying to like make a buck. He's trying to like exploit the holiday season. And then you have the opposite side. You have Taft Sturgeon, who's like, no, he's trying to be kind and he's trying to be giving and caring. And like, he's doing his best so that other people can aspire to be like him, much like Superman in that kind of aspects as well.
Yep. That's very cool. And I like the idea of like the, like you said, the higher beings or like new god versions of Santa and Mrs. Claus, like Santa Allfather or something like that, right?
Exactly.
Like,
right.
Yeah. I think that's a
So,
really cool idea.
They're Silver Surfers to like, this cosmic abstract that is, kindness and giving that exists somewhere in the universe.
Yeah. That's awesome. And for I guess for Tony, for the art, how fun is it to draw Christmas on every page? Are you sick of the holiday yet? Was it fun for you, or like?
I mean, I've been drawing this for a year, so like I'm drawing 119 pages. It's going to be about 139 or so.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot of pages.
So I'm almost at the end. So when I started, it was like what was it? Summer, maybe.
Wow.
No,
earlier than that.
Like I want to say it was like October of last year. Yeah. I think you and I were coming up with the idea, like we were trying to hammer it out last year around the summertime, and then I want to say like around October, November, like I started really getting into the script, and he and I were batting it back and forth. And then December, he was like, I remember just like getting texts like, "It's almost time. Like I really want to be drawing Taft like during this time of year." And it's just like, yeah, man, we're gonna get it, And like, we were rocking and rolling through that. Like, and it has been, better part of a year now. So yes,
so
that's awesome.
When you're outside, you're outside of the Christmas season doing that, like it's summer, it's like the sun's out, it's 100 degrees, whatever.
Yeah.
Are you just like? Did you still have the Christmas decorations up and like blaring Mariah Carey just to get in the mood, or
it was like Tony Bennett, right? Was it Tony Bennett who wrote that song?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. It's the book is a Christmas book, but it's a holiday special, but a lot of the book it's not holiday centric. So there's like periods in the book where they're like, there's a chase with a flying car, and then there's like a rescue, and there's like him going through a wormhole, and like. There is like when he's in the North Pole, it's explicitly Christmas, but there's other stuff that goes on where it's like robot fights and, action and stuff like that. So luckily, like it wasn't me drawing like snowflakes in July. And, but there's but it's like anything else. I don't live in I drew the worst dudes for Dark Horse, but I don't live in the weird sci-fi existence where I'm living like
Right.
you know, with pink cat lion men and stuff like that. So it's like, you know, it's just
you're
being
telling me
creative.
you have an imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Imagine,
There you go.
imagine that.
I didn't want to be like, duh, imagination. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah.
Real
I
quick,
mean-
Mike, just to jump
Oh.
in here,
Yeah.
just for Tony on the art. One of the things that popped out to me, like I know you got a lot of aliens and stuff here. I'm assuming that's a part of the whole Taft mythology. But what
Yeah.
really jumps out to me is how you designed Santa in those preview pages on the Kickstarter.
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? And actually, Dave, to you too, is that part of your, like, you had something to do with it, or how'd you guys come up with that?
So that Santa that you're seeing on the preview pages is Taft dressed as like you know, like the Salvation Army Santa.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
he and I were just like kicking back and forth, like, well, what do you think? Like what would a Jack Kirby inspired Santa Claus look like? Because there's like this weird idea where he and I were talking where it's just like how Santa through the ages has like changed with whatever like the theme, like thematically is like the Santa we know and love is like the Coca-Cola Santa, right?
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
that's what he like. That's what he was branded as. That's what he's great. But before that, it's Saint Nicholas, and before that, you know, various other. And so we were kind of thinking about like, well, what would a like Santa Claus in the future be? And it's just like, well, if we're going through all these like pop culture references, and you go through like comic books and like how comic books are like just the MCU and the DCU and how they're influencing like movies and how we and shows and how we consume our media and things like that, and how they've influenced everything. It's like, well, why wouldn't we have this like weird galactic Santa? Because you go back to like, you know, Jack Kirby and like his implementation and his effect on like how we consume comic books as a medium and like his heavy influence. And so I think that's where we were going with what we wanted Taft Sturgeon to look like when he was his like Salvation Army Santa Claus. And then the Santa Claus throughout the rest of the book is like a little bit more classic, but also cosmic. Like it's like more toned down, but like again, back to that like kind of Silver Surfery feel where there's a cosmic entity being who's just like because they're multi I don't want to say multinational, but like they exist in a plane where multi facets of people pan species can like witness them. So it's like we see like a classic Coca-Cola Santa Claus, but like this alien sees, you know, some three-eyed dude, or like this sees a sentient blob, and you know, we started like kicking around like that kind of idea. Like,
oh, that's pretty cool.
And there might be examples of that in the book, like later on.
Oh, nice. That's an interesting way to think about it.
But like Santa, as he shows up, when Taft meets him in the North Pole, he looks a little more like the Coca-Cola Santa that we all know. But a little, like Dave was saying, he's a little more cosmic and a little more alien than in your, you know.
We were trying to like make a book that if the season wasn't just solely like Earth, right, and like how Christmas as an idea exists throughout the cosmos, and then like all species like celebrate sort of like an end of the year type festivity, like you know what I mean, like something.
I think it's really cool.
That makes me think of the story years ago. You know how like recently they've been trying to do like more diverse Santa when they're selling them, so like you can go to Walmart now and buy like black Santa and so on and so forth. When that first started popping up, I was out shopping, and this kid, and we're talking about like 7-8 years old, like, so innocence of a child in this story, everybody. And I'm just walking by, and this kid just points at black Santa and goes, "Santa isn't black," and everybody around just like goes hush, and I'm just I had to walk away because I start laughing. Sorry, it made me think of that story.
But I think it goes to like what you said. We're ingrained to know the Coca-Cola Santa, right?
But it made me think of like that's true. Like people over here, you know, down over in this country might see Santa different than how we see him, and so on and so forth.
Right.
And
Exactly.
I mean, he's a mythical figure. You know, it's like any other figure over history that, you know.
Yep.
It's like almost like Batman. Batman gets rebooted for every generation and every region, or Religious
so-
myths are pretty much the same, but their messianic figures have different names. But
right.
the origin stories are the same because they just kind of reboot all those stories for whoever they need to tell it to, you know.
Yeah, it's like the stories if you can go to churches in different communities. So if you go to like a church in like Chinatown, New York or something, so a Christian church, you'll see like Asian Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Those are. I need that for my next collection. I collect Jesuses, Chris. So let me know when you see an Asian.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I know what to get you for Christmas now.
Yeah, I'm still waiting to get one.
You're gonna get so
Perfect.
many crucifixes now.
Tis the season.
I mean, it's easy to display him. He just nails ass to the fucking wall and walk away.
No, I don't need any more. My mom keeps sending me crucifixes. So I don't need more. So let's talk about the Kickstarter page. The art that you have up to show off the pages. The first 5 pages is absolutely amazing. The way you split the panels and have like the Christmas wreaths and stuff like that, and like the sci-fi environment in the background, I think it's just a lot of fun with each page.
Nice.
The characters too, it's a lot of fun to like look at all the characters in the background and things like that. And let's talk about the rewards too, guys. So you have digital, which is like typical.
I think too with the digital, you get like I think you can get the first issue that we did way back then.
Cool.
The 30-page original Taft Sturgeon.
That's awesome.
Collection, and that way, if you want to like just read it digitally to get your feet wet, so you kind of understand the world that you're getting into, you can choose to do that.
That's really cool.
Well, and that was something that I was curious about, and I'm sure people out there are curious about. Like, do they need to read that to understand what's going on here, or do you try to keep this story on its own, where it's very understandable for a new reader?
We try to keep it as new reader friendly as possible. Like there is some talk of like past exploits, like a couple name drops, a couple this is a couple that's, but as it's written and as we've developed it, we made it as new reader friendly as possible. So it's like it's just us returning with a character that he and I love and want to keep telling stories. But like, you know, in the vein of like the pulp science fiction hero, like you can just pick up a single issue or a single trade paperback or graphic novel and just like jump right in, and you don't really need an origin story, because the first book that we were able to tell a story with him, it was us just like developing this character and having fun, and it was very much just like serialized pulp adventure.
Yep. Cool. Very cool.
So, you know, we hope that you enjoy it. Like if you read the preview and then you want to read the thing, then hopefully people will be like, yeah, let me check out where the character came from too.
Mm-hmm.
And we made it really easy so you can do that and just, you know, look at it on your device. You have to get a physical copy. Because I think the first issue is actually really good. I'm proud of it. So I would like people to read it.
It's not bad.
As opposed to the other stuff you guys did together, which is just trash.
Which is
all shit.
It's just all poop. Just poop. Content. If you just want content, just go and suck it up. But yeah, we have digital, we have print, we have page rewards. As Tony will send you a page of original stuff because he doesn't.
I can't believe the cover is still available, everybody. Original cover art, $300. Still one left. That's insane. That's an insane deal for cover art, I think. So.
Yeah. And you get the book. So you get the cover and the book.
Yeah. That's pretty good.
We got pages. We have some add-ons where Tony will do commissions. We've got our previous library on our add-ons. So if you want like any of the single issues that we don't have in print, we do have access to them in digital. Mm-hmm. We have our trade paperback of Ancient Noise, which was our first series that we did together, which is 5 issues, 118 pages, about a time-traveling hyper-intelligent gorilla and his companion, and dealing with extra dimensional threats, and like a little bit of body horror, a little bit of dark humor, a lot of science fiction, a lot of wild stuff. But yeah, like we had Layla Del Duca gift us a great sketch card that she illustrated of Taft Sturgeon that was bought up quick, fast in a jiffy. Yeah. And but we're folks who believe that, you know, the reward is the book. Like we want to, we don't want to inundate you with tchotchkes and stickers and knickknacks and all sorts of stuff. We just want to get the book to your hands, and then hopefully you'll enjoy it enough to return.
Yeah.
For the rest of our stuff.
That's awesome. No, it looks fantastic. I'm super excited for it, and I'm super sad the sketch card's gone because that was really good.
Hey, maybe I'll work up some sketch cards.
All right,
Yeah,
okay.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Now we're talking.
We can trick some other people. I'm sure we can. Trick
Yeah.
people.
Yeah, I think
You do a Blue Beetle and Booster Gold one, and Mike will buy it like.
Oh hell yeah, sold.
Have you seen Tony's Blue Beetle and Booster Gold commission?
No, I have.
He's done it in the past. It was really great. Yes.
All right. I think you guys, you have about 20 days left, 21 days. You're almost halfway there of the 6,000 goal. I think it's super attainable. I hope to see a bump from us when we get this episode.
We've done it before.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. No, I mean, you have the fan base already, right? So that's a lot of content you have in the graphic novel. I think it looks great, and I'm super excited for it. So.
The other books you have that are digital, are those previous Kickstarters as well, other than the Taft book, obviously?
Yes. So we kickstarted The Adversary. We kickstarted all of the Ancient Noises, all 5 issues, plus the trade paperback. We kickstarted Malediction of Maxwell Fitzsimmons as well, and the original Taft Sturgeon. And so I think we did 7 altogether.
Great.
Yeah.
And
7.
And you sold through all the physicals already?
On some of the books, yes. Like The Adversary and Malediction of Maxwell Fitzsimmons, I think they're all gone. Ancient Noise, I have 1 through 5 in singles, and the trade paperback. And Taft Sturgeon, we still have the volume 1. We still have physical copies of that as well.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can go to my website for that too, davidcrispino.com. You can go to my little store, and we've got all sorts of stuff. You can actually get you could get Taft Sturgeon digitally for free at my website currently.
Well, you did the hard work for me. I was going to ask where our listeners and viewers could be following you guys. So for Dave, it's his website, and for Tony, do you have a website as well?
Yeah, well, I'm on Twitter at Tony Gregori, Gregori, and I'm on Instagram. It's Tony, but it's TOEKNEE.
Okay.
Gregori on Instagram, and then I'm on Blue Sky, and I have a Tumblr and all that good stuff. The Tumblr is at Tony Gregori. Yeah, I try to cover as many bases as I can because it seems like social media
a lot to keep up with.
Yeah, it really is. So I got to post on 4 different things just to catch the algorithm.
Did you guys see it? I posted on all these different things. Nobody saw it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be talking to somebody. I know
Dave saw it.
I saw it. I liked it. I shared it, and then my friend Mike saw it, and he liked it.
Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
And then Dave's wife will like it and share it, and then
hey, you start the chain reaction. All right.
Wives. It's all about the wives and the husbands liking it, and the partners.
They can lift us up just a little bit.
I cannot find this Booster Gold anywhere. I don't know. I'll find it.
I googled David Crispino, and apparently you have a doppelganger.
Yeah, he works for LucasArts.
Yeah, so there's an Asian David Crispino, who works for LucasArts, and he is best known for, Mike, you're gonna love this because it's 3 of the 4 movies that I just wish would die. He worked on Triple X Return of Xander Cage.
Oh, that movie rocked. I love it.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite Triple X movie. What do you
That's the one I'm out. No, that's the one that I'm not going to say anything bad about because I've never seen it. He worked on Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Wow.
He worked on Justice League, and then he worked on the worst DC movie ever made, Suicide Squad.
The first one?
Which one?
Yes, the original one.
Oh, the David.
Not the Suicide Squad.
Oh.
Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that's not the best track record for sure.
No,
I think we have the better Dave Crispino in the chat right now. That's what I think.
I don't know. Xander Cage, Triple X 2 is the Return of Xander Cage is pretty amazing.
I haven't watched that one in a long time. It was entertaining as fun.
That's what's on top is best known for. But then you go through his credits. Dude worked on Loki. Dude worked on the Smurfs too, I guess. He worked on the Harry Potter movies.
I'd love to see David Crispino's thrive. That's
yeah. That's what we want to.
He's got way better movies than those four. I mean, those three.
Right.
I don't know about that.
Right.
Anyways,
it was our friend. It was our friend Danny Scullion who has the Booster Gold Blue Beetle.
Okay.
He's our friend from Scotland.
Oh, he bought it from. It's all the way in Scotland now.
It's all the way in Scotland now.
Oh, it's gone forever.
But I'm gonna see if I can find like.
I had colored it, and because I was coloring a bunch of old commissions just out when I had free time recently, and I have it somewhere on my hard drive colored, but I don't know where it is. I can't find it. So.
Oh man.
And
you guys really
distracted on this.
You guys really got me friggin' excited for this Booster Gold shit. Now I'm just like, not any pictures of Booster Gold. Clearly disappointed.
I will find it on my Instagram probably, but I don't want to be on my device while I'm talking to you guys.
No, it's all good.
It's all good. So, I guess, well, Dave, I know you talk about your website. Do you also do social media? Do you want to pimp out before I close up?
I'm on Instagram. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Blue Sky. I'm on Facebook. It's all David Crispino. All of it.
Great.
All right. lots of terrible life decisions made with social media here. I love it.
We're all doing it.
So everybody out there, you know the drill. Show notes. There's links to the Kickstarter, to Dave's website, to any other fun stuff. I can find the link that involves these two fine gentlemen. So click on those, check it out, and I promise you will not be disappointed. Dave, Tony, thanks so much for taking the time today. Come chat with us. Really appreciate it, and we look forward to the next time we can do it.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This is really pleasing.